everyone, Arlynn here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you again, and thank you so much for stopping back by to see what I'm up to. And what I'm up to today is I'm finally getting ready to do my 2022 fall home tour. Yay! As you know, I did a nighttime tour right before we left for our vacation. And today I'm going to be concentrating on how things look during the day. And I'm going to just get on my scooter actually and ride around the house and just show you what we've done for fall and how we've transformed the house into a fall motif. This year my theme was traditional colors. I wanted to stay with the traditional colors of fall in the back of the house, in the family room, the kitchen eating area. In that part of the house, I kept it at very traditional, bright fall colors with a pop of blue added in. And then we'll move into the living room, the foyer, and the dining room. And in those rooms, I kind of kept it as a neutral palette with a pop of blue. So the palette lightens when you come to the front of the house. The front of the house is very light and airy anyway, so I wanted to keep it that way. And the furnishings that I have in that part of the house kind of lend itself more to a cottagey feel, if you will. So anyway, I will probably just narrate the first part of this video, and it probably will be a long video. So if you want to skip the narrated part, if you don't want to hear me yammering along, you can just go to minute mark this and just skip me talking all through it. But that's it. That's all I really wanted to say to you, other than to let me humbly ask you if you would consider subscribing to my channel. We're fixing to finish up fall with this, and we're going to start Christmas right after Halloween, because I need to start early because I have a YouTube channel and because I do so much for Christmas. And it takes me a long time to video, edit, get the videos up, and get decorated. And I like to get it done around Thanksgiving, or because we do decorate the big Christmas tree in the family room together. So anyway, I would love for you to subscribe before we get to Christmas. I think you'll enjoy that series. It's my biggest. Fall is my second to the largest, and Christmas is my largest decorating series of the entire year. So it's free. It's free to just click that subscribe button and then hit the like and then share with your friends and family. And don't forget about the notification bell. Hit that so you never miss one of my little uploads here. All right, I'm going to go into final words while I'm looking at you here, because I like to do it while I'm looking at you and not from behind the camera. So again, thank you all so much for stopping in here today. And I hope all is well with everyone. And for those of you who might be struggling or suffering with a catastrophic illness or chronic pain, I hope that you have someone there with you, taking care of you, helping you get through each day, making the very best out of each day. I hope there's nothing weighing on your mind or your heart, pulling your attention away from where you want it to be or from where it should be. I love y'all to bits, to bits, to bits. Hugs all around, and I keep you in my thoughts and my prayers every single day. And with all that said, I'll just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Don't go away, though, because we're fixing to go in and do a whole big narrated tour. See you when we get inside. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, here we are inside the house now. I'm sitting right in the foyer, and first thing we'll do is look up, and you can see that we have a landing up there where I have two chairs, a table, and a big flower arrangement up there, and you can walk across the landing and look down into the family room. So we'll go in there and turn around and look up. As you can see, we live in kind of a center hall colonial. To my right is the living room. Straight ahead is the family room. And to my left is the dining room, and I am sitting in the foyer proper, but you can see that there's my scooter here. You can see that there's a good bit of space between separating the living room and the dining room here. So we're gonna start in the family room. So let's roll on over here. And this is the door to go down to a full basement that goes under the entire house. Okie dokie, this is the family room, and as you can see, we have a big bank of windows here that I just love. And it really, really brightens up this side of the house. And as I said, this is the family room, and through there is the kitchen. And then we have an eating area through there, kitchen eating area, mudroom through there. And then there's a hallway that goes on down there that goes to a half bath and a laundry room. And this room right here is one of the reasons, one of many, that we purchased this house, you guys. This room I just thought was so nice to entertain family and friends. We do have this is a load-bearing wall here, so we have to have the center beam. So I've had people ask me that. I'd rather not have it, but it had to be there, so, you know, what can I do? Now, since I spoke about the staircase at the beginning of the video, I thought I would show you. There's where I just was sitting, right in that foyer right there. And as we looked up, you know, and as we look up here, you can see the light there. The light is shining up there, and that's where those two chairs are sitting. And you can walk right across and look down, and you can see the bedroom doors. We keep shut up there because we don't have the heat or air on up there right now because we don't have anybody staying with us. Anyway, this is the staircase. Again, one of the main reasons why we bought this house. I've always wanted a staircase that I could decorate like this. And when we get over there, I'll show you exactly what I've done over there. But for now, let's turn around and we're going to start here. This is what I call a cozy corner. For those of you who don't know, I started a blog many years ago and had a dear friend, Liz, who used to live on Vancouver Island over there in BC. And she is the one that encouraged me to start my blog. And with that, she said, you need to figure out something to call your little corners that you make all the time. And I said, well, how about a cozy corner? And she and I agreed that that would be something to do. So you'll see I use this same technique in many corners, not only in corners, wall corners, but on shelves and, you know, in numerous places throughout my decor. You'll see that I love to make little vignettes like this. What this is a 6-foot ladder. And on the ladder, I have a tobacco basket at the top there. I made a swag to go around that picture. Having a place to go is home. Having someone to love is family. Having both is a blessing. And then that is my little rocking chair that I used to rock on as a little girl. My grandma and grandpa gave it to me for my 2nd birthday, I believe. And then I just have a throw on there with some scarecrows, and y'all can see what I've done just to make this corner cozy, right? So hence the cozy corner. Very happy with how that worked out for sure. So then as we move over here, just to tell you, of course, I made every vignette, every wreath that you see in the house. I made every wreath, every centerpiece, every floral design. You know, I did all of the decorating from the brass tacks. You know, if I did not make a wreath, I will tell you. Or if I did not make something, I'll tell you. If I don't tell you I didn't make that, then you'll know that I made it or arranged it, you know. So you can see we have a big old fat TV here that I don't try to hide because it is there. It's big, it's large and in charge. And so we just put a fall scene up today, which is really pretty, of a little cabin in the woods. And then down here, I have a piece of hooker furniture. It is a credenza. And our daughters are Kristen, there on the left, is a wonderful kindergarten teacher and works in a neighboring county. She is an awesome, awesome teacher, was teacher of the year in her 5th year of teaching. She's now in her, I think she said 17th year of teaching. Oh my goodness, I just can't even believe it, you know? And then Candace over here is little Maverick, our grandson's mama, which he's in that picture right there, which won't come into focus. That's my hubby, Chris, there. You can see. And okay, here we go. There's Candace, and then little Maverick right there. And my husband, Chris. Boy, it's still kind of glary. Sorry about that. But anyway, all I did here was, this is just pretty much a candle ring. I made this centerpiece out of a tray. I got the tray from Amazon. I'm not going to go into so much detail with everything. I'll pretty much just start showing you everything. And I was given this beautiful vase, picture vase, by Amanda Thrasher. She gave that to me a couple of years ago now, and it's always resided in this tray because I love to showcase it kind of front and center. There you can see I've got a grapevine pumpkin in there, a couple of pilgrims and pilgrim family, and you know, just fall foliage and a towel and so on, and mimicked the pumpkin on this side. And there's a close-up of Kristen and Maverick, and that's one of our cameras that we have while we were on vacation. We have cameras everywhere, so you might see those sitting here and there and everywhere. Okay, so we'll start up at the wreath. I did make that wreath. And it's actually a blue and white wreath. It's got cream burlap on it, and we added the fall foliage into it. Got a blue bow on it, and we just wanted to bring fall into it. It is hung on the mirror with that long piece of burlap there. And don't ask me how Chris connects it on the back, because I honestly don't know, you guys. Chris made me the two little shelves on either side of the mirror. The mirror is 6 or 7 feet tall, and it stays up throughout the year. We do not switch that out. And there is the mantle. See that I have 2 vases there filled with fall, a couple of 3-tiered pumpkins, and I have a couple of lamps on either side. The garland is from Grandin Road. It is not new this year, and they unfortunately do not have any this year. So let me get you a little closer so you can see everything. I made every bow you see in the house too, by the way, including those. They're funky bows. And I did buy, she is one of my purchases for this year. I try to buy something nice to add to my decor each year, and she has a Jim Shore angel. And she was my purchase this year, my big purchase. I did purchase a few other things like this little sign from Amazon. And I do have a fall Amazon shop in my Amazon store that you're welcome to look at. Those pumpkins came from a Etsy shop, I believe. And, you know, we mimic the same decor on the other side. And then down here, we just have, you know, I kind of treat each side of the hearth as a cozy corner, if you will. A little harvest sign and wreath on a wreath holder. And just, you know, pumpkins. And this little scarecrow fella, he came from Occoquan, Virginia, decades ago. You guys have had him forever. And he has a little tin hat that's rusty. And he's wooden. The rest of him is wooden, except for his hat. And his hands, I think. And then over on this side, you can see that I just have a candlestick kind of in the back there with the scarecrow sitting on it, and the white pumpkins with the blue flowers on it. I got it at Home Goods last year, the year before, I believe. Helen, sweet Helen, made me the fabric pumpkins that you see throughout the decor. And we just added him recently for Maverick when he comes, so he can look at the owls. He loves the owls. You can see I have a set of 3. These candlesticks here, these black candlesticks actually came in a set of 3 with the pumpkin candles. I'm only using 2 over here, and the other one is in another part of the house. So, but yeah, I didn't switch everything out, but I switched a good many things out. My regular everyday decor is a blue and white cottage feeling decor. And I'm just kind of augmenting it with There's our green pool right now. We're waiting for them to get finished. It's not finished. Let me walk over here to the window and just give you a quick look at that. Poor thing, it needs chemicals in it. And we're waiting for the concrete to be laid. That's what's holding us up. But you can see it's coming along. As I said, they're going to be bringing chemicals by, and the electric is hooked up now, but it definitely needs some help with some chemicals. We did not do a saltwater pool. We did do a chlorine pool, which is what we prefer. So anyway, let me kind of, I'm up off my scooter here, so I'm going to walk around just a little bit and kind of back off of this end of the room and show you everything kind of together. Okay, now we are going to work our way over here to what I call my ivy table. I'm just going to walk. And this wreath is a wreath I made many, 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 many years ago. It's just on a grapevine frame. Bow and pumpkins and leaves all around. And this is what I call my ivy table design, so named because this black table used to be a different color, and it used to have ivy leaves painted on the front doors. And we painted it black to match the credenza that you just saw, and this table and chairs, and the desk, and the black hutch, and the black corner cabinet. I love decorating with black furniture. I feel like it anchors the decor, and I really do love it. So as you can see on the bottom there, I just added some florals into an old Longaberger basket and hung a sign on one of the doorknobs there on the front, and then made another tray design. I love doing tray designs. Another little floral arrangement with candles and more pumpkins. And you can see I love milk glass. This was a gift to me. I love milk glass. I collect milk glass. And this plate was from Walmart last year. You know, the lamps both came from Hobby Lobby. This is actually a kind of a placemat, but it's a board. And then as we move up, this is just a fabric pumpkin garland. It's actually two of them wrapped together, and then I have white lights wrapped around them. And another big purchase that I did this year was that picture. I usually have a Thomas Kincaid picture hanging up there, but I decided I wanted to bring fall in for this entire look here, and so I bought that picture from Amazon this year. And it is linked in my fall Amazon gift idea box. So there we go. Then I have my fall tree here, made on a 6 foot, I think 5 or 6 foot little pine tree. Made a kind of a tree topper. Well, the birdhouse is the tree topper, but then I made like a funky bow swag, and then just added bunches and bunches and bunches of all kinds of fall picks and scarecrow and pumpkins, and then made another swag for the bottom part of it. Chris made it so that it made a tree stand, if you will, out of the bucket. So when we put this downstairs, when we undecorate, he carries this thing downstairs just like that. The give thanks sign is something I got from the Dollar Tree, actually, a couple years ago. Then I did make a spray for the corner of this tray here, black wrought iron tray with the Happy Harvest picture. And then that welcome pumpkin plaque came from Hobby Lobby, I think. I did put a little throw in a basket behind this chair with just a little pillow I got from Home Goods this year. And all of the pillows you see are pillow forms that I have always in the house, and I just replaced the pillow forms Most of them are from Amazon. The two on the edges there with the butterflies on them, I did get those from, I think it was collectionsinc.com at the end of the season last year on deep sale. But most of my pillows throughout the house, just one or two that you'll see in this video, are not pillow covers. And I'll show you I have a couple out in the living room that will you can see I just put some little scarecrows kind of heading down the steps here. And I'm going to get closer to the staircase so you can see. This is a 3-tiered metal pumpkin that I got from Joann's 3-4 years ago. Unfortunately, I cannot find one. If anybody can find one, please let me know and I'll link it for everybody. But I am not able to find one. Then I just made a funky bow to go on the front to match the bows. I made new bows this year to go on the staircase. And they all match 9-loop funky bows at all the swag points. And then the garland that you see is mixed berry garland from the pipberrybarn.com. Actually, it's not .com. It's I do believe that it is a Etsy shop now, I believe. I will give you a link if I can find one for them. I have about 11 or 12 garlands all strung together and wrapped in white lights. And they stay up throughout the year except for Christmas. They will come down. And sitting atop this bullnose here is this pretty little Boyd's bear that I've had for years and years and years, and another funky bow on the front. And this is just what you see, all the leaves and the pumpkin and everything there is just a swag that I had made. And I just kind of wrapped it, separated it and wrapped it around her and stuck it down in the bullnose here. Again, I did not purchase a ton for this decor this year. I'm reusing a lot. All the ribbon, or most of the ribbon that you see, is actually from Bobby over there at perpetualribbons.com. Go check her out. You can always find a link for her in the description of every video I put up. And we'll get back to this little cozy corner. Let's head over to the kitchen now. We'll go through there real quick. Another one of my favorite rooms in the house. And this is one of the reasons why we built this house. Just recently switched out the pendant lights to these snare drum lights, if you will. They are called drum lights. I tease and say they look like snare drums, which I love. We're a very musical family. So that's apropos. Let's just head around here a little bit. I'm not going to take a long time to describe everything in here. I don't do a lot in this corner. Not a lot of cooking goes on in this corner, so I feel like I can get away with a little bit more decorating. And of course, we have our frame that goes 24/7. That's our girls when they were little. And again, I made that arrangement. I made the bow, and I am going to go ahead and start me a cup of tea here in my Keurig, in my fall y'all cup. I don't have a lot of Ray done, but I do have a little bit. On the windows, you can see that I just did this is a very old plate, and I have one on the other end to mimic it. They're primitive country plates, if you will. I used to do a primitive country design all over the house, and kind of got away from that as I've aged, but I still like to use a touch of it. I did replace the curtains this year for something different. Usually there's blue and cream colored curtains up there, and then at Christmas time these will be replaced with red with white or silver snowflakes. So I do change these curtains 3 times a year. You can see our leaves are just starting to change. We are mid-October. And my cousin Stacy made me "The Lord is My Strength and My Song." And Chris hung it up with chains there. She made that with her Cricut. And then I made the arrangement in the milk glass pitcher there. And then I do have the Pilgrim couple I got from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, I think. And then this side of the window mimics the other side. I don't have a lot out on my kitchen counters. I have a lot of counter space, but I don't like to cover them up all that much. I do have some candles burning, and I do have a little dish right there, little platter that I found this year in my coffers and forgot I had. So I set that out on a big, like, you know, cookbook kind of a holder there. And then I did do a little bit in this corner this year around this black lamp that I got at a local country store. And then as we move around, as I said, I don't have a ton of stuff all over my counters. So, but I did, on the counters where we don't do a lot of cooking, I did add something. I pulled out that funky bow over there for on top of that lantern. And that is actually a cutting board, the pumpkin spice and everything nice. That is actually a cutting board. And that's our Alexa right there. She's going to think I'm talking to her.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Sorry. Then if you look up, we have decorated the tops of the cabinets a little bit for fall this year. And put a garland right around the hood, and that there is a long distance between the hood and the cooktop, so that is not a fire hazard, I promise. And on around we go, and just added a scarecrow here and there. That's a fall sign there. And it looks like I have a light bulb out in that little lamp there, doesn't it? Get that replaced. So all of those lights up there can be turned off with one switch. They're all ganged together on one switch over here on the right hand side of the sink. So I don't think I mentioned that too often, but that we did think to ask them that because I knew I'd want lights up there. So here is the microwave and oven here with just a little owl towel and an owl wreath that I made several years ago. And Stacy again, my first cousin, you're gonna hear her name a lot as we go through here. She gave me that "Thank you, Lord, for your blessings" sign plaque. That is our family's favorite song because it was our grandma's favorite song. So we sing that when we get together. Here's just a little shelf design. Chris made me the shelf years back in the 80s, literally back in the 80s, you guys. And I used to have a stencil in my kitchen that was the bow and the heart, and you know, and then the heart, and then the bow and the heart and the heart. And painted black, we kind of updated it, huh? Looks pretty good. Then this is a new designed tray this year. Chris made me the tray. It is big and heavy, and it's made out of shiplap. You can see it there. And this is a brand new design that I made. Nothing is brand new in it other than the sunflowers. I did get the sunflowers from Amazon this year. And I did buy the pilgrims this year. But other than that, everything else, the lantern and the 3 pumpkin stand kind of in the back there, I already had, and all the other florals. So we just, and the pumpkins came from, the glass pumpkins came from Kirkland's. So just made up this little design. I do have a playlist that this video will be in, and if you want to see how I made these centerpieces or some of the wreaths and so on, you're welcome to peruse through that playlist and decorate with me, you know. Or if you don't know how to make a bow, I teach how to make bows and wreaths. I do a lot of tutorials, and there is the upper cabinets on this side. I want to show you that too. All the lanterns I've had, mostly all of them since we moved in. I purchased them for months as they were building the house, knowing I wanted to put them up there. So let's turn all the way around here. Okay, now we'll start here at the desk in the kitchen eating area. Too difficult up there, other than I just added foliage to the couple of bottles I have up there and a couple of velvet pumpkins to the candlesticks. And yeah, that's about all I did. Added a plate. But this is one of my favorite things that I do when I decorate, and that is this dough bowl. This dough bowl, it will get put away for Christmas, but throughout the rest of the year, it is out here, and I decorate and redecorate and redecorate for the seasons. Fall being no exception, with the You can see the brass or the gold pumpkin I got from Home Goods last year. And the ribbon came from Bobby at Perpetual Ribbons. It's Ferris silk ribbon. I did buy the sunflowers this year, but everything else that you see in that dough bowl I've had. And I love that dough bowl. I think it makes a big fat statement. And then I have these little candlesticks with gold candles in them and just a couple of gold pumpkins. I got those from Hobby Lobby on either side. And I decided to put a tablecloth on. I usually don't. We have a table pad on here from affordabletablepads.com, which is great. And I usually keep the table looking just like that. I don't ever take the pad off because we want to keep the table nice, you know. But this is about the same color as the top of the table. But I decided to put a tablecloth on this year. I think it looks pretty in the burnt orange. And I think it warms it up. I think it warms everything up here in the, you know, going into the winter months here. So let's talk about the hutch while I'm over here. And we can see it from afar here. Again, this is a hooker hutch. And on the top of it, I just have 2 more of those lamps with a couple of vases, blue vases with fall foliage, and a couple of brass pumpkins and a couple of wooden pumpkins. And anyway, each shelf is decorated for fall, but just a little bit differently. And I'm very happy with how the hutch turned out this year. Really, really am truly very happy. That certainly gives us the feeling of fall. Okay, we're going to move on around here. Wanted to pause here and show you what I did underneath here at the desk. I love this desk. It has got like an etched design, or that's actually painted on it, but it looks aged. It came like this, you guys. I just think it is such a pretty piece. And that's what I did inside of it. Super pretty. And I just made this room up to be a little office for myself. And I made this wreath at the beginning of the season. This was the very first thing in my playlist. And I was going to use it on the back of the front door and I didn't want to. I wanted to use it in here. And I have these really pretty plaid curtains in here. So I thought it would match in here beautifully. And this is where I set myself up an office. I now have a nice iMac where I do all of my editing. This is where I work when I do all of my editing. And this is my little corner of the world, if you will, my little personal space. Here is a frame for those of you who might not know. Country Sampler came and photographed our house with my blue and white decor. And we were featured in the May 2022 copy of Country Sampler. So I printed off all of the pictures and I framed it up. So I always have that there. Was very humbled and touched that they chose our home to come and put a series in one of their issues. I'm going to tell you about this cozy corner real quick here. I made that funky bow. That's an old funky bow, many years ago. And just put this little tray behind him. Again, another little cozy corner. This is a fabric garland. I believe Rich made that for me. One of you guys made that for me. I've got a couple. And just a little plaque and a little candle with a silicone bulb. And then my daughter Candace gave me that jar. And I just filled it up with fairy lights and wrapped around a Pip Berry garland. So I wanted to scan around here a little bit just to show you everything on this side, and then we will move to the other side of the house. This is the formal dining room, if you will. And it goes through the foyer. That's where we began. There's the big part of the foyer that I was talking about. And then that is the living room. The furniture on this side of the house, a lot of it is older furniture. Well, let me show you the hutch first. I just added a flower arrangement to the top, and that is in a milk glass vase, and just added some velvet pumpkins to the top. The blue and white plates that I have tripled up there, a charger, a white milk glass plate, and then the colonial plate, they stay like that all through the year. And we glued them together with Gorilla Glue, which is like a really strong super glue. I made this garland several years ago. And then inside the hutch, I just added just little touches of pumpkins and blue and white pumpkins, and added some owls and some leaf little milk glass plates. Just touches, just subtle touches. And then here's another cozy corner. This is a shelf I got at Hobby Lobby last year about this time. And I just lantern topper there to go on that lantern. I was asked to do a funky bow class for the Salvation Army, and the lady that was in charge of that gifted me that beautiful lantern. So I always try to do something special with that. That was a very special time for me. And this hutch was my grandmother's hutch. This is something that's very special to me. It's very, very old. And you see that Madame Alexander doll right there. She is Glenda, the Good Witch, and she was my mom's doll. And I'm not a big doll collector, but I do love this doll. And you can see she's dressed in a blush pink with gold. And that's what I do. I redecorate this hutch throughout the seasons. You can see I've added pumpkins in and so on. But I decorate throughout the seasons in the pink and gold hues. So I was very happy with how this worked out. Again, I collect Jim Shore, and a lot of gifts from Lisa Segardia gave me these beautiful, beautiful crystal pieces. So I made that pumpkin topiary that I have sitting up there, and I've accented with rose gold and copper a little bit in places. So this is one of my favorites here, for sure. So as we turn around, we'll go over there to the sideboard in a minute. But let me show you this centerpiece. I made this centerpiece, and I'll just point you to the video where I made this. It's too hard to explain. It's not hard to explain, but it's a lot to explain. So I encourage you, if you want to know how I made this, to go and check out that video in the playlist. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I love it. It is subtle, but it's large and in charge, and I love it. We do not eat at this table. We always eat at that table out there. So I felt like I could really kind of go over the top a little bit on the table. Then I just did a little something in this corner to an extra chair we have, just to throw on the back, and some pillows and a pumpkin and a little garland. Then I've had Cinderella's pumpkin for years and years. I got it at a Plow and Hearth outlet that we used to have in town. And then this is my sideboard, and I made this new this year in a little bit of a dough bowl underneath there. And so very happy with how it turned out. This is my grandmother's lamp, very special lamp to me that's been handed down through my mom, who is no longer with us. She passed away of Alzheimer's, to me. And yeah, that's all I did in here, very subtly. Got this picture at a secondhand store years ago. And let's move over, and we will talk about the living room and then end in the foyer. How about that? And here we go, sitting right at the entrance of the living room. The furniture in here is Some of it is newer, some of it is old. The couch and the 2 chairs we purchased when we moved into the house. The coffee table was my grandmother's. The secretary was my grandmother's. This, what used to be an old oak table that Chris painted for us. And the 2 chairs at the end there, we bought at Wayfair a couple of Christmases ago. So it is a hodgepodge of furniture, but I love every section of it. So let's go through and I'll tell you about each piece. Again, this is, we call it the half moon table, and very subtly decorated. Again, Lisa Segardia just sent me this right before we left for vacation, and that was one of the last little designs I did before we left. And it just so happened that paired very nicely with this little plate, another charger with a melamine plate that we have glued together again. And happy pumpkin spice season. And then just a little scroll piece. All of my scroll pieces came from either Hobby Lobby, Amazon, or Kirkland's, y'all, just to let you know that. All of my trays, either Chris made them or they came from, most of them came from Home Goods. Home Goods is a nice place to buy really pretty trays. And all of my milk glass was thrifted, along with a lot of my candlesticks, like this one on the right there, and on the left, that vase, all thrifted. So you can see I did a little plant stand tricycle, if you will, and these 2 little lovebirds are out for a little ride in the park, maybe. So just made that up. I made that bow. All the curtains on the front of the house here came from Bed Bath & Beyond, as did the curtain rods and the curtain metal tiebacks. We bought them all at the same time when we moved in, actually, and I have never changed them out because I love them. The wall color, by the way, is Perfect Grayish from Sherwin-Williams. It's a Sherwin-Williams color. This little corner that I don't often show and was asked to show this year, I didn't do a lot to it, but did add a couple of pumpkins to give thanks on the top there. Pumpkins to this big floral vase here. It sits on the floor. So, and some blue pumpkins, as you can see. Then is a little window. This is where my white Christmas tree will go. All this stuff will be moved out of here. But I love these little chairs. And the 2-tiered tray is from Bella D Designs. And we just put that together on camera one day. And the table is from Kirkland's, as I said. And just this and that and the other thing. I made that. The wreath. Chris put that pumpkin there. He said, there, that makes the design, and I have not moved that little white pumpkin there. That's his contribution. Right. I did make up this. They're pillow covers on the pillows, by the way, on the chairs. I got from Amazon. And then I did make up this big arrangement here in this basket this year. Now, as we move over here to the couch, my daughter, Candace, laughed at me. I said, I'm going to try to throw a throw, Candace, because she's really good at that. When she throws her throws, they always turn out perfect. Mine look like it's a throw that's been thrown. So I made an attempt to throw a throw this time, and I think it turned out pretty good. And remember I mentioned the pillows out in the family room, those 2 boho kind of pillows, if you will, there, that are kind of sitting in the background. I purchased those from Home Goods. Beautiful pillows. I love them. They will stay out all year. And I did buy the pillow covers from Amazon and added in some knitted pumpkins there, and then a little 3-tiered little pumpkin. So just try to do something special for the couch. Not a lot of people sit on this couch. Again, will when people come to visit. And then here is another little tray design that I did on my grandmother's table. This is glass top table. This top can be removed. And I have to tell the story about my dad. He always asks me, did you tell him the story about how I wrapped every present of yours when you were growing up? And every present he wrapped on this table. He would take the glass top off and he would wrap presents on this table. That is a tiny table. I just don't know how he managed. But he did it. He loves to wrap gifts. So that silver tray was my mom and dad's silver tray when they used it at their wedding reception. So just tried to make that little design to honor the tray. And then my grandmother's secretary. I didn't do a lot of fall to this. That's my mom pictured in the frame up there on her wedding day. And I just pretty much added a garland with a bow there in the middle. And then didn't do really anything to the inside, but then just added a few little pumpkin touches down on the bottom part. And that, my friends, will do the living room. We are thinking about recovering this chair because it is old and restaining it. It is old. And it has been sitting with that secretary just like that. It sat just like that in my grandmother's house. So I'm having mixed feelings about switching out that. I'm not sure. Okay, this is kind of what I call the foyer proper. It's not very big, but it is a 2-story foyer. I made this wreath a couple years ago now, and in the wreath you can see that I just added some fabric pumpkins that I got from Amazon. Just kind of nestled them up in there, and they really pair nicely with the beautiful ribbon that I got from Bobby at perpetualribbons.com. And then coming this way, that is just a cotton, and was a round cotton wreath that I kind of smooshed and made into an oval wreath, and added lamb's ear and blueberries to it, and then just added the Hello Fall in the middle. The wreath hangs there all year. And then I did make up this little pitcher that's a blue metal pitcher, and I just made up that little arrangement this year. Again, you know, I have a link for this video, Decorate With Me, in the playlist. Table came from Hobby Lobby years ago. But that's it. My rugs came from Lowe's, I believe, but several years ago now. So, but anyway, y'all, that is it for this one. So stick around if you want to just watch a tour just set to some pretty music. But if not, I'll say goodbye here, and I won't come back again to talk anymore in this video. And I'll just say thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me for this little bit of time here and taking time out of your busy schedules to come visit with me. Thank y'all so much. Until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.